Right, our piston rings. So here's our piston with its rings off it. We have 3 grooves there, as you can see, which is referred to top ring or number 1, number 2 ring, and the bigger wider one here is our oil control ring. So here's our top ring, our number 1 ring. Normally when you get these, they're silver in colour, and on them they will have marked top, either the word top, the letter T, or sometimes just a dot. Very thin and easy to break. Our number 2 ring, as you can see, same thing. I can tell with my fingers, guys, that these are well worn out, so I don't know what measurements we're going to get. So what we're going to do is put them in the bore, and we're going to check our end gap measurement here. So as they go in the bore, this closes up. General rule of thumb is 0.13 millimetre clearance to every 25 millimetres. So taking it to 75 mil bore, we should be looking somewhere around about 0.40 of a millimetre clearance. So what we're going to do is put the ring in the bore. We just can put it in nicely, compress it, be gentle with them, they do break. Then we just use the piston just to square it up. We then get our feeler gauges. Now if you see there, you can see the end gap down there. We said it should be somewhere around 0.4 of a millimetre. So let's start at 0.3, see how we go. Well, that goes in nice and easy. 0.35 does go in, it's a bit tight. 0.38. There we go, 0.40. Oh, she's a bit loose still, which we would expect based on the fact that this cylinder, when we measured it, had quite a bit of wear in the bore. Oop, I'm up to 0.48. So there we are at 0.53, and it's just touching. So quite a bit of wear in this cylinder. As I said before, retail environment, machine shop would send it away, bore it, and replace the pistons. So that's number 2. We'll just do number 1 and just see how bad it really is. So put them in backwards, nice and gently. Use our piston to square it up. We had 0.53 on number 2, so let's start with 5.3. Oh dear, it flies through there. .60, so it just really confirms what we knew, is that these bores aren't very good. That's our rings. Just over here we'll have a look at our oil ring. Now the oil control ring's made up of 3 pieces. These very skinny thin rings here are our scrapers that control the amount of oil that's in the cylinder wall, and in here is our expander ring, which allows the oil to hold around the piston, or a certain amount, to give it some lubrication. Now for these to work in the bore needs to have a finish on it, and we do that with a cylinder hone. So this is our conventional parallel 3-legged hone, which goes in the bore like so. We put a drill on the end of it, and we go up and down, and we form a crosshatch in the bore. This is that worn, this hone's not going to do it any good, so we're not going to hone it with that. We also have this, which is called a bead hone. Now these are used on older engines. I'll give you a quick demonstration. They're actually a very good hone if you're just re-ringing an engine. If it's a brand new rebuild, you wouldn't use it. all we do is we put a bit of CRC in the bore and on the stone. And all we do it is slow speed, and we just get a bit of rhythm going up and down. And all we're trying to do is, with this particular hone, is take the shiny glaze off the bore. If you stay in there too long, ultimately you may end up boring it out. So just nice and gently, we'll clean the bore out. I don't know how well this is going to come up on the video, but you may see that there's a, I'll just turn it towards the light a bit more. Oh, there you go, you can see the difference between number 4 and number 3 cylinder, and you can see I've got a nice little crosshatch in there. Now that crosshatch allows our piston rings to bed into the cylinder bore, and that's where all our compression and oil control comes from.